TGIF, everybody. How's everyone doing today? Hope everyone had a decent week. Hi, Arena. TJ, how are you? Pretty good. All right, let's take a look around to wrap up the week. Market rallying, yes. New highs in S&Ps right here.
Are you surprised?
Oh yeah, it's like
First
it
time it
never happened.
happens, right?
Yeah.
Who would
So
have guessed?
yeah, who would 4,200? Anyway, look at this, guys. 3 drive. What do you think? So the trigger was the first red candle, and it's a good time to look at a weekly. So we're still a shade higher on the week, but the week is not done. Even had a 3 drive on the weekly chart here. So I know I wasn't long, but the week started off with, if you were fortunate enough to have bought it well and greedy enough and naive enough to ride it all the way up here, to take something off the table. So I saw a look that it's a rising wedge on the daily, so it depends where you anchor it. But we start taking out 56,000. The 200-day comes all the way down here, guys. Right? So that's not the end of the bull market. Just a correction, but 50% correction. Right? Um, yeah, pullback is healthy unless you bought the top, then it's unhealthy. Right? Huh?
Yeah.
I mean, it's healthy depending upon your timing. Euro continuing up. I'm still fighting it here. I'm looking for a dollar bottom. Maybe it's next week. Kind of a crummy week. Aussie had a great week. And here's Canada. Something interesting in Canada, even though it's lower today. We could still go to the 61.8 or 78.6, but yesterday kind of looked like a stop hunt to me, where you had this double bottom at the 50% fib. You took it out and then rallied above it. So we're right there now. We'll see. It's going to take a little bit of risk off. So even though we're at new highs in the S&Ps on certain time frames, we are diverging. NASDAQ finally made another new high, but look at how glaring it is here. All right. So it took a lot of energy for NASDAQ to get back to the old high, which was 13.9. It took all of this energy for it to get up there. So I would say next time back under 13.9, there's a problem there. And oil is still trying to grind higher with risk, but still my contention that this is going to be a failing rally. No, I got stopped out, Tom. I tried it again yesterday and got stopped out. I said, oh, back over 1760, I'm gone. So that's what happened. Okay. So it looks like Tom's a big fan of mine, and I think I know who he is. So also looking at the yields, they tried to come back a little bit here, and they're giving it back up. Yields still look like the path of least resistance is still down. And that's about all I have for today. And Blake, TGIF, we made it, buddy. 4 o'clock in the morning, and here we
Yeah.
are. Hope you had a good week, bro.
It's just, I'd had a week. It's been one of those weeks where I'm just sitting here going,
Yeah.
stocks continue higher, so it's just kind of kept the FX market at bay. And all the action once again is back in the crypto market, as you're pointing out with you were pointing out with Bitcoin. And I think it's important that we recognize these moves and how big they are, and that's why I'm going to take you over. Let me grab.
One thing, I think I sent you the letter by Jim, but I never, noticed it, but he noticed a relationship that when gold is down, Bitcoin's up, and when Bitcoin's down, gold is up. We've seen that the past couple of days. I hadn't noticed that before, that
Yeah, well,
relationship.
let's talk about that for a second as we're I'm gonna make a few comments actually really quick regarding all this. So when you look at crypto, you have to think from the eyes of the participants of the market, right? Who likes gold? You do, Dale.
I
And
do.
and so does
I do.
Stelios, and so does Steve, because we're old
Dinosaurs. Yeah.
We are. You talk to I'm just going to give you an example. You talk to my teenage kid and he will say, "Dad, why do you have gold in the safe?" And I'm like, "Because it's rare and it's there's it's limited supply on this earth, and there's only so much." He's like, "Well, that's just,
Yeah, all that doesn't resonate to a kid, though.
yeah."
So
He's like that.
the best answer you could give him is
Bitcoin. I could put Bitcoin
you'll
in a
find
digital
out.
wallet. Steve, can I finish real quick?
Yeah.
Because he's like, I can put my Bitcoin in a digital wallet, and there's limited quantities available. Why would I hold gold? Right? Go ahead, Steve.
The only answer you can give him is that you'll find out as you grow older.
Well,
because now that doesn't really resonate with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but let me
when
ask
it
you
will.
this, Steve. Are you right or is he right?
Depending on the time frame, he's been right.
Yeah.
He's been right. Yeah, very right.
Yeah, but no, I got to ask you, like, when you are, when you and I and Stelios and the rest of the team, when we pass away and you have the new generation in, a new generation and a generation after that, are they going to care about gold? Are they going to be like, oh my God, do you remember? I was actually watching, I was watching the show called The Pacific.
I love it.
Yeah, it's great. It's about the Marines in Guadalcanal. I mean, I was, First Marine Division. I was a Marine in First Marine Division.
I like it better than Band of Brothers, Blake.
Yeah, me too. And I've watched them over the years, and I'm watching again with my oldest son, who's 16, and he's like, what are they laying the wire there for? And I'm like, because they're using it as a phone. He's like, what? Yeah, I'm like, that's how they communicated to each other. And they're going to have this conversation, 10 years from now. Can you believe our parents actually bought gold and silver? That's the mentality right now. That's why you're seeing gold go up, Bitcoin go down, or vice versa. And I'm not saying that gold's going away. I'm not saying that at all, because I hope not, because I own physical and silver, but I don't think it's going away. But I think that it's losing its store of value to, it's being ushered in by a new generation. Will Bitcoin end up being the end all be all, and I'm just saying Bitcoin as a general blockchain, will it end up being the end all be all of digital currency and the store of wealth? I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, I'm in the camp that governments could restrict it, but and they're going to want their piece, right? Just like they do with any other exchange. So, and when that happens, does it take some of the shine off of this? But I want to point out a few things, and I'm going to let you guys talk a little bit about this, just technically. So we've got Bitcoin, and I'm following it. And this is a comment I just got from somebody on Twitter. So I'm going to read it to you. Somebody, I have no idea who this person is. This person, Elias, may be listening in right now. Forget about ETH. because I tweeted something about Ethereum and about Ethereum reaching the channel resistance. This is the crab pattern, is the chart of the day, and it reversed right where it was supposed to and should have, and we've seen a big decline after that. And he said, forget about ETH. Dogecoin is already up over 120% within 24 hours. Meme coin madness. When I heard that conversation last, when I heard that comment last,
the 90s, 2000.
Forget American Airlines.
It's different this time.
You gotta buy broadcast.com. You know what? GE? Screw GE. You should be buying Mindspring, Earthlink, Netscape,
WorldCom.
Yeah. Look, it's the same conversations, different generation. And if you weren't around in trading and listening to investors back in 99, 2000, you would not know. And that's why I'm here to explain it to you. It's a whole new generation of the same mindset because we're humans. We're all.
Can I say one thing, Blake? Sorry, carry on and I'll say something. I just want to say one thing. You said before, who is right? Are we right? Are they right? It depends on the time frame, and I'll tell you what I mean. When I was at the bank at Merrill, I was making $20-30 million a year. I was trading very consistently. I wasn't taking stupid risk. And the questions are, who's the better trader? There was this other guy who made 180 one year, and everybody's saying, oh, amazing. And then he lost 300 the next year. So it depends on how you close, how you manage your risk, right? Obviously, if somebody has been right, well done, but you have to crystallize it, right?
100%. And when you sell your anti-US dollars and convert them back into US dollars to lock in profits, because that's what you actually buy, then I'll be the first one to congratulate you and say, well done. But what I am warning you, and Stelios has seen this, Dale's seen this, Steve's seen this, most of our team has seen this. This is like, you guys have to understand that this is exciting. I think my wife is going berserko. She bought Dogecoin 3 weeks ago. I'm like, she bought it right here. I'll show you right where she bought it.
Seriously?
Yep.
Lol.
Yes. She's like, I gotta buy it. And I'm like,
He hedges Blake's trading.
She bought it right here. Yeah.
Wow.
Right when it was basing, right through here. And so all I heard last night from my wife is she's texting her friend. She's like, oh my God, I did, and she didn't put very much money in, but it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter at all. She's just gone berserko crazy. And the text and the conversation, I couldn't even have a conversation with my father because my aunt came in from out of town that I hadn't seen in like a year and a half. And I'm trying to schedule a time to see. And I actually had to walk back into my office and shut the door because she wouldn't stop like talking. It was pretty funny. But she is participating in this. And guess what? She ain't the only one. I know a lot of people that had been buying Dogecoin for the last couple of weeks. So, but there are people that don't know anything about anything in the markets.
You can't imagine how many Greeks had quit their jobs in 1999 and were just trading stocks, thinking they're experts because, of course, whatever they bought, it just went up, right? Whatever they bought.
My 13-year-old son has friends that own Dogecoin for the last several months.
Yeah.
13-year-olds.
I can give you my personal example. My parents are both architects, right? So my father bought like in 1998, like 10 million drachmas in equities. I mean, that was the equivalent of a very decent car, but nothing, huge.
This is, guys, this is the Greek currency before they joined the euro. For those of you that are listening in and you're young and you don't understand cryptocurrency or understand real currency or fiat currency, drachmas, where
that's the equivalent, let's say, of 30,000 euros. But of course, back then, 30,000 euros, as you understand, I mean, inflation, etc. I mean, it would be the equivalent today of, let's say, roughly 50,000 euros. So he put like, 10 million drachmas in equities, just, on the sideline, money that he had on the sideline. And within like a year, that had become 80 million. Within like 15 months, 8 times up, right? 8 times up. Needless to say that when he cashed out after the crash, it was 8 million. Something like 7-8 million.
Yeah. And well, here's and that's exactly what happens to a lot of people, because when you're in it, you're in it. When you own it, you own it. And when you see something like that, okay, the last thought on your mind, the last thing in your mind is like, I'm gonna sell. This thing's going up forever. And
exactly.
And then you and I asked my wife, I'm like, hey, are you gonna take any profits off the table? She's like, when it reaches the dollar, and from
that's the problem with the retail crowd mentality.
Let me finish explaining here. Like but her attitude is, if it she's like, what if it overtakes Bitcoin? What if it does this? What if it does that? And I'm not going to sit there and try to rationalize this conversation with.
No, you can't.
No. And so, and God bless her, she's done great. And who am I to say? But I'm just what I'm trying to explain to you guys is the mentality. And I'm a trader. I've been doing this for nearly 25. Well, I started trading in 1996. So it has been 25 years that I've actually physically been trading the markets since November of 1996. Now, before that, I was a broker, and I was in the business for a year and a half before that as a, licensed securities broker. So, but as I've been trading, I've watched the dynamics and the evolution of traders. And that's why I've watched it very carefully, and I've seen it after teaching so many people for so many years. And I know the mentality, and I know what's going through people's mind. And I know this is a thing, and you can't, and I don't know where in the cycle we are. And that's what I keep trying to explain to people is we are in 1999, or we're in March of 2000. I don't know. And this can continue. It can. And that's
it is very easy to spot a bubble as a professional, Blake, but to paraphrase what you just said, it is impossible to call the top. Time-wise, impossible. I mean, it's very easy for us to look at this and say, this is a bubble and a mania. And I'm 99.99% sure that we're going to be proven right. But whoever thinks that they can say it's going to be over in a month or 3 months or 10 days or 5 months, they're just, pulling stuff out of the,
Yeah. So let's stop for a moment. And I just want to say this about cryptocurrency. Just what I would be watching is really, and this is why it's so important to watch Bitcoin and Ethereum and some of these, let's call them legacy cryptocurrencies, because that's where all the money's really at, all the big money's at. Okay. And those are going to be the leaders. So if you own an altcoin, and let's say you own, Dogecoin, or, whatever XRP, whatever coin you're buying, if you see Bitcoin start to roll over, remember, that is like the foundation of your house that's built. And if that gets knocked down, then you're going to see the ripple effect, no pun intended, into other cryptocurrencies. So that's really important to pay attention to moving forward. Watch Bitcoin, watch Ethereum, watch some of these big ones, Litecoin, and see how they're reacting. You start to see them move in tandem in the other direction. That's a risk. Also, Coinbase has not been acting well. And you might say, well, you know, it's a broker, but it's also how a lot of people are de facto investing into cryptocurrencies. And the one thing I gotta say is that, man, you know, looking at some of the fee structures of Coinbase, and you know, I mean, there could be some, you know, knock-on effects here, but just keep an eye on that. And so I just wanted to wrap my crypto conversation up with, yeah, just be careful with, you know, some of the big names. And those are the ones I'd be watching. And when we are seeing this type of mania in there's an old saying in the markets that have been around forever. When you know, you got to get out when the shit starts floating. Excuse my language, guys. You know, I apologize, but that's just kind of like trader talk. And like when you are watching a rally in equities, you know, to all-time highs, and just anything and everything starts to rally, like anything, like it doesn't matter. You throw a dart at it and it starts going up. That's usually the signs of a top. And when I see this excess movement in some of these cryptocurrencies, it does concern me. And the last thing that we want here at Forex Analytics, myself especially, is we don't want you guys to get hurt. And so if you are participating, congratulations. And I'm so happy for you. And we're so happy for you. Now, just make sure you manage your trade and don't let it get away from you. Okay,
Yeah.
don't. I want to talk about a couple other important dynamics in fiat currencies, which I think is worth noting. The euro dollar is once again pushing into 120, and this is the, you know, resistance zone we've been talking about for, you know, the last couple of days, which is held. But we haven't seen much of a pullback, and I'm going to say, while the euro dollar is above this 119.20 level, you have to continue to look for, you know, higher prices. I think we might, you know, continue towards 120. You know, if we break 120, we might head up towards 121. However, if stocks start to reverse, then, you know, you'll see the dollar actually strengthen from here. The dollar yen also is hovering below the 109. This is a pretty big deal to me, because you guys have to also think about this. This is a trend line that has been broken. It's a 6-year trend line, and we're going to end up getting a false breakout. And that's going to hurt, especially if it happens on a monthly basis. So you got to be really careful, because if stocks start to come down, and we're seeing yields come down. So if yields start to continue to come down, the dollar yen will follow. And that means the dollar yen ends up breaking through this support, and we're going to see a lot lower prices. So through 108.35. So just, you know, I want to point a couple things out with fiat currencies that are actually moving. So Stelio, Steve, what else is on your radar? I know this is Friday, and by the way, Dale, do we have a
Yes.
No.
We don't have a guest today. Okay.
Yeah.
So we can talk a little bit longer than we normally do. All right. Very good. Then I don't mind mentioning just a few other things. I have to point out the Aussie dollar. This is my chart of the day yesterday. I'm still looking at a head and shoulder pattern. I know we broke out, and you know, when I was short some Aussie dollars, I covered them, you know, because you know, I'm just like, okay, you know, when we broke that 76.50, I'm like, that, you know, we're still building this out. I wasn't sure if this head and shoulder pattern was going to, you know, be not so symmetrical at the time, but it's obviously being symmetrical. And that's why, you know, it's still building out here. And if you look at, you know, these moves, like you think about where we can, you know, build out to, it looks something like this, right? So symmetry, you know, we can still, you know, channel around for the next week or two, right until we get to the sell in May, go away seasonal aspect of the markets, and then break down. So I'm not writing off the Aussie dollar. And matter of fact, we get up towards 78 cents. I am still looking for shorts up there. So I don't know if we're going to make it up there, but with stocks at all-time highs and the S&P at all-time highs, and, you know, and climbing, you know, I have to assume that the Aussie can reach for 78 cents at some point. It's interesting how it's not, and it's not even following gold. And guys, speaking of gold, you know, if you haven't watched this is a double bottom. This should extend out to 118.40, and that's one of the other things that reminds me that gold can continue to go up. and the Aussie can continue to go up because the Aussie probably will follow precious metals. And if we go by Dale's thinking from Jim Welsh, then maybe if gold continues higher, maybe Bitcoin falls. So that's something else to just keep in mind as we go through coming into this next week. So Steve, Stell, I want to pass it to you guys and see what you guys are looking at going into the last day of the week. What a rally that we've seen in equities. What a rally we've seen in cryptos. What are your general thoughts right now, Steve?
First of all, having to do with cryptos, I was monitoring this ascending wedge here in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And this one's.
And I was just going to say, by the way, I wasn't even looking at that, but now it's like definitely on my radar about a possible wedge, especially with what's happening with Ethereum. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I was monitoring this breakout from the triangle for Ethereum to reach the 161.8, which it did.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, we break through because Bitcoin is going to remain the leader. We break through this trend line in Bitcoin, and I think we have a very good chance of seeing the sell-off accelerating to the downside. As you mentioned, there is a lot of speculation lately. The retail crowd has started jumping in. And usually these are the times that you expect the market to shake off the weak hands. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're about to turn lower, and we've already seen a high for the time being. So I would be extremely careful being long any of the cryptos. Now, having to do with its correlation with gold, I consider it non-existent. So I don't pay that much attention to it. Temporarily, it seems to be inverse, but it used to be the opposite, and I just think it's currently uncorrelated for the time being. Gold has definitely broken through the key resistance area, and yes, that opens up more upside. At the same time, if you look at the GDX is also breaking out today, and I consider this a very, very key chart as well, in combination with gold, because gold might not be in the position to break out yet from its equivalent correction, but the GDX is. So the GDX seems to be leading in this case.
That's a good sign, Steve.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It was holding up better on down days of gold too.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, I do think that the dollar still is, in a dire position, in my opinion. Look at the cable. The cable is very close in breaking out. The euro is approaching this trend line resistance. The Aussie, in my opinion, yeah, there is the possibility. Blake mentioned the possibility of building a head and shoulders formation here, and yes, this is definitely a possible way to look at it. But respecting the trend, so this would be here, the head and shoulders formation, but respecting the trend, as long as we trade above the neckline, I tend to give more credibility to the descending wedge that I think we've broken out from. So as long as equities remain bid, I wouldn't be surprised to see a new high here in the Aussie, up towards like 81 cents, which is the...
Hey, Dinosaur Steve.
Yeah.
I think your fax machine is going off over there. Come on, I had to poke fun at us older people.
Yeah, we still have the facts actually.
You know,
yes.
I think you just got your telephone wire plugged into your building, so you can connect to the
Yes,
internet. I think you
that's
gotta
true,
turn that
Blake. I
back on.
just got a message on the teletype that Steve's fax machine.
I remember teletypes as well, to be honest.
Sorry, had to say
I'm
something
that
about,
ancient.
about the landline. Okay.
Housing starts, by the way, we just got housing starts better than expected. 1,739. That's actually 1.7 million versus 1.6. Use building permits a little bit higher, almost as expected. Use building permits 2.7. So that's the data. Nothing that I expect to move the market. At the same time, we have the S&P testing this resistance. And Blake, I was saying yesterday that monitoring the recent price action, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if we repeat what we saw in late 2017, which was we were in that uptrend that was relentless, the way this one is. I mean, that slow, non-stop grind higher. And then we broke out from a long-term ascending channel and we actually accelerated and created like a parabolic move to the upside before we actually crashed in January of 2018. You remember that, Blake?
I remember. I do, Steve. Yeah, there was. There were no technical reasons why it would have broke. Yeah.
This period here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one. So I mean, looking at the current price action and the mood of the market, I really can't stop thinking that instead of getting rejected here, we might see a completely logical type of acceleration higher when everybody's expecting a pullback. And then see, of course, I exaggerated here. I mean, I don't mean it should go to 4,900, although you never know. And then see some type of an event that will crash the market lower. So I would be very, very careful in fading risk assets because, the smell around is, the smell of tulips. You know what I mean? I smell tulips. So I don't know. I'm very hesitant in fading any of these overvalued assets at the moment. And
yeah, sorry.
Go ahead, mate.
No, I was going to ask. So Stelios, where do you reside on all this?
Well, I have pretty much the same view as Steve. It's with risk assets going the way they are, it's very difficult to sell equities, and it's impossible for me to buy them either. So I'm concentrating on other things. So people have been following me. They know I've been long silver. I got long just below 26. Then I added the 24.15, which turned out to be really good. And I wanna buy more on the breakout above 27. Or I'll wait for a pullback to reload. That I trade what I know, and for me, silver has been very, very good to me over the past few years.
And speaking of silver, we are at the 38% retracement, and I know I just heard Steve's fax machine, but whose Atari 2600 was going off?
That was Stelios' phone.
That was my phone.
Well, I mean, do you use a brick phone? I mean, what's going on over there?
I have a Samsung Note 20 Ultra, the best model there is, man. So it's not bad.
It sounds like a Nokia chocolate bar phone that they used to give you back.
Actually, Stelios is old school. He wants to have something heavy to throw at his wife if things go bad.
Exactly.
I just want to point out, hey Stelios, you've been spot on with, again, no pun intended. You've been spot on with silver, precious metals, silver at the 38% retracement, and I'm more thinking that silver is range bound. I mean, there's nothing more than I'd love to see silver, blast off to 50. But I'm technically not there yet. But these precious metals are moving, and I wonder if Jim Welsh is really onto something that, and because it is a dynamic that is, I think it is real. Gold and silver might be the anti-crypto. you know, so if you see, you know, Bitcoin slide, maybe it is, you see these precious metals take off. I got to ask you guys this really quick. With inflation looking more and more likely that it is actually going to come, like, you know, there's been warnings for the last several years with all the liquidity that we put in the market that we're going to get some sort of inflation. But now I really feel, and I think most people do, that this is it. Like, we are really getting, like, prices are going to go up, and they're going to go up for good.
They're already going up.
Oh yeah, I mean, they're going up right now, but they're going to stay higher. Like, you know, we get some inflation scares, like, you know, maybe a few years ago, where inflation looks like it's, you know, prices are ticking up, and then, you know, the economy slows down, and, you know, it just kind of, you know, we kind of get the fits and starts over the last 8 years, 10 years on inflation. But really, it feels like inflation's coming. And so I'm going to ask you this: what are the best inflation hedges in today's environment? Do you still buy gold and silver, or do you actually buy some cryptocurrencies? What do you guys think?
Good question. I think you buy anything that's a real asset. That's what I've always said. That's why we started.
So no cryptocurrencies.
Cryptocurrency is a real asset.
Theoretically, it is. Theoretically, I'm just not convinced myself. So yeah, I'd rather concentrate on things I know, as I said before. So yeah, for me, real assets. That's why we're, you know, you guys know we're starting a car collection, because not only do I like driving cars, but I think they're going a lot higher. As same with everything. Same with everything, like land and. You know, real assets. That's what I always say.
You know, still trade what you know. I know guys that spent 25 years, their whole career, in one trading pit. They were in the cattle pit. They never went over to the hog or belly pit or currency pit, and they did quite well because they knew one market like the back of their hand.
It's easy to get sucked into every market, and you know, you make a great point.
Only Dale. Takes one, bro. You know?
Yeah, and you know, our focus has predominantly over the years been on, you know, on obviously currencies, and I stick to currencies. I know we're on the actually cusp of some very volatile days in the currency market, as you know, central banks normalize rates, and it's going to be extremely volatile in currencies. And you know, when the luster's off the cryptocurrencies, we see a pickup in, you know, regular currency market or the fiat currency market, and we will see that again. And the currency market is going to be volatile as all get out. I know that moving forward. So that's important to recognize that. And there's always people that are going to try to hop on the next best thing. And you might be one of those people, and, you know, good luck to you. But yeah, I'm with you, Dale. I like to focus on one thing, and I've been,
and especially new traders, Blake. They don't have to be portfolio traders. Pick a couple instruments you're interested in and master them.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, Steve, what else you got on your screen there that looks frothy?
I think that one last comment I had is that I think one common characteristic of times of mania is that experts look like amateurs to amateurs, and amateurs look like experts to the rest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, when you have the coffee boy at Everest making 10 times his 200 euros by buying Dogecoin, and your son's schoolmates, etc., and they feel like, you know, why do we need experts? I mean, we're the experts. I mean, they know nothing. This is the usual time to start getting really worried that, you know, we're not far away from some kind of meaningful top. Of course, not that far away can still mean several weeks or even a few months. But I believe that people that want to actually maintain their cool head and decent approach to the market should not be lured in, you know, such a trading mentality at this time.
And it's human nature, Steve. You know, Sir Isaac Newton lost his life savings in the South Sea bubble, and he was pretty smart.
I've said it before, just for you to understand how much it is human nature. Do you know
Yeah.
what is one of the most important, actually, the most reliable measures of if you're going to have violence and crime in an area? It's the disparity of the Gini coefficient. The Gini coefficient is a coefficient that shows how income is being distributed.
Okay.
That means that if you have a poor neighborhood, it's less likely to have violence and crime than if you have a neighborhood that has rich people and poor people together. And that's the kind of mentality that brings people into FOMO. It's you feel okay if you're not making money, if the others are not making money as well, but you feel like something is really wrong if you see some other people making a lot of money and you're not participating.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone could admit it.
Yeah,
that most people feel that way.
So
that's why you
I do.
Get a Forex Analytics no FOMO shirt.
Yeah,
print them, man.
Yeah,
I have holes in my shirts from 4 years ago.
I'm actually wearing mine right now.
I'm still wearing a 4-year-old shirt, man.
And in these 4 years, he hasn't washed it even once.
Wait, let me.
No, in fact, all I have to do
hold on. Let me show you.
Jump into it. Go ahead. There's Stell.
Oh yeah,
no
there
FOMO.
we go. No
there
FOMO.
you go.
Yeah.
That's
that
great.
guy benches 420.
We gotta do a giveaway for those shirts, and I cannot.
All right,
well,
how many include me, will you, bro?
I cannot believe how many people have walked up to me and says, "Does that say no homo?" And I'm like, no FOMO. No FOMO.
That's dangerous.
That has happened to me multiple times.
Fade the homo.
Wait a second. What does your shirt say on the back? Oh, I thought it said no homo, and I'm like, no FOMO, people.
Yeah,
oh, goodness, that's.
You really have to put it on a shirt.
I'm
wear that
my shirt. I'm gonna put
you
that
wear
on
that
my
into the
back.
bars, huh, Blake? All right.
Somebody asked about the DAX breaking out as well.
Let's address some of these.
Several days of consolidation. So just keep looking higher. I mean, I keep repeating this, but it is what it is, right? Look at this. The RSI worked out overbought conditions by moving from 81 to 70, and that was it.
All right, before we sign off, I just want to let everyone know today is the top in the S&Ps.
Oh, it isn't.
It is. I just wanted to get it down on the record.
Okay.
Right. But Dale, you've been on the record saying that for last about 14 years. Just
yeah.
So why it's an album?
No, but why do you say? What do you say today? Why do you say that?
Why do I say that?
Yeah,
I think we're at.
I have something for you.
Target. I think the dollar is on the verge of turning back up. I think that's going to be the key. And like you said, Blake, Bitcoin is a sign of risk appetite. No one's hungry in Bitcoin today.
Well, I think I need a little bit more convincing, but Steve's got it.
All right. Well, we need price.
Dale, I have something for you.
Don't play that. Not. We got a lot of families listening.
Oh, I know what you're going to play.
Don't play that.
Cartoon. All right, we're echoing here now.
Oh yeah, sorry. Wait.
All right. Anyway, I know the cartoon.
Yeah,
I think we all know the cartoon. Yeah, it's a family show. Let's keep it. Keep it at that.
Buy the dip, the video.
Anyway, guys, I want to acknowledge all the hard work you guys have done in the last 4 years to develop this website. I think it's the best on the net. And if people haven't tried us out, Friday's a great day to do it. You have all weekend to navigate. I guarantee you that you will be surprised how long it's going to take you to find out all the features that you could use. And, besides just going to your broker, you really never have to leave the FA site. You could put your own Twitter stream on there, everything. I mean, these guys have put a lot of money into developing this site to help you guys and offer a fair price.
We're about ready to reconfigure the app, and And so
Wow.
the app is going to be
You
updated.
guys never stop spending money.
No, unfortunately.
You do invest.
And we all point at
Unfortunately, Dale, that's going to come out of your salary. We forgot to tell you.
Oh, well, all right. Okay.
You know, and just remember, a lot of people don't necessarily, they're like, oh, the analysis is great. And I'm just gonna explain this to you. For a lot of people, myself included, believe it or not, when I'm gone and I'm check out of the markets for, like, let's say a day or two, this is a great place for me to go, okay, get caught up. What happened?
Yeah.
So what happened? I'm gonna and how is the market reading certain, you know, prices? Because I stay up obviously with the market, and this is the most valuable part of Forex Analytics is our chat room. So you guys are on Jumbotron right now, so you guys can say hello if you're listening in. But the reason why I say that our analysis is really, it's valuable, because if I've been gone for a couple of days, and you know, and I need to just get caught up with everything, I go through the analysis on Forex Analytics, and it helps me get caught up. And you know, because I know a lot of you have your own ways of reading things, but it's also a way of, especially if you're a light version trader, that means you're only paying $19 a month so you can listen to all the webinars. That is important to look at that analysis and say, you know, is this analysis confirming what I'm doing, or is it giving me an extra viewpoint, a different viewpoint that I hadn't seen before? So you know, those are just kind of the benefits that you see there. But yeah, you guys should all take advantage of Forex Analytics and try it out, as Dale's saying, right, Dale?
Yeah.
Don't listen to Dale and Blake. Just buy Dogecoin and retire.
Yeah.
You don't need Forex Analytics.
Use your profits from Dogecoin to just pay for a year up front. That's what I recommend. Okay.
There you go. All right. Well, I'm going to let you guys wrap it up here, and I'm going to
have a great weekend, Blake.
You do the same.
All right, buddy. Steve, Stell, you guys
enjoy the weekend.
Yeah, you too, buddy. Thank you for all your hard work, team, and everyone that's here. Thanks for hanging out with us. We lay it all out on the court every week to add value to what you're trying to accomplish. A way to say thank you is to subscribe, and don't forget to, you know, count your blessings every day, and you could always find something to be grateful for. And I'm grateful it's Friday, and I have a roof over my head, and food in the refrigerator, and people I care about. So if you think about what you're grateful for, you'll never be depressed. You can't do it simultaneously, gratefulness and depression. And anyway, I know that anyone who's here has a lot to be grateful for, because you know what? A lot of people can't afford to risk capital in the market trying to turn it into more. And if you're one of them and you're trading, stop. And if you're one of them and it is risk capital, which risk capital, I used to say when people would open an account with me, I'd say visualize lighting a match and putting it to that check. And if that makes you nervous, it's not risk capital. So take your temperature over the weekend, because sometimes your problems are trading with scared money. And it's got to be money that, you know, you're not going to be too emotional with. I know it's easy to say, but the more detached you are, the better. And
good advice, Dale.
We're rooting for you. Okay. So whether you join or not, we root for everyone. We put free content out in Face and on the chart of the day and the blog. So, you know, we're not that mercenary where you have to pay for everything. So if you like us and our character and our work, become part of us. And that's a wrap, Steve. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and looking forward to Monday. I'll be jonesing by Sunday night. You know what I mean? You know what jonesing is?
Nope.
Withdrawing from no action.
Okay.
in the markets. Okay, so we'll see everyone next week. I have a great lineup, and take it easy, Steve. Have a nice weekend. You too,
You too,
Stell.
Dale.
All right.
You too.
Adios, everyone.
Bye
See ya.
bye.